Once again, we do have the video, so I'm gonna go ahead and play Saints post game show week 1. So it's gonna be on YouTube. So we can't get it on live stream. It's I don't know why. You have to sign in, but I don't want to go through that. So we'll just go through YouTube to get it. So we'll do that in just a second. So let me put it back on the chat room. So if you're back up in here, just come on down. We'll talk about the Saints game. So let me go ahead and switch it back on. So we're back on YouTube. So let's go ahead and do that.
So he was better protected. Taysom Hill goes out there. He's with the backup lines, and he's really got to kind of improvise a little bit more.
Let's go ahead and hear from quarterback Teddy Bridgewater in the press conference.
That was great. Learning experiences tonight. We're placed in different situations, and I think we did a great job executing. And we had a nice 2-minute drive. We did some things well in the short yardage. You look at the kicking game. Will did a great job tonight. Return game, those guys did a great job tonight. So of course there's some things to take away from tonight, and but that's why we have practice tomorrow. That's why it's a preseason. You know, you get to learn from those things and move forward.
How did you feel like you did? Like, how would you grade your performance?
I leave that to the coaches. Felt like for me, my main goal was just to create tempo, create rhythm, and try to establish an identity. And I think we did a good job of doing that.
You said earlier you felt more confident in what you were doing in this offense. You demonstrated that.
Yeah, definitely. The coaches did a great job today of just calling plays that we were comfortable running, and the guys did a great job of just making plays. We were able to put together some good drives, good scoring drives, and of course we won 7 points instead of 3. But whenever we can put points on the board, it's always a plus.
Can you talk about that drive in the first half?
Yeah, it was just a great job by the guys being aware of the situation. Our defense did a great job of leaving us enough time to be able to drive down the field and score. The guys on the outside did a great job of understanding what plays we're calling, getting the signal and communicating and running the correct routes. The offensive line did a great job of hearing the calls and protecting. And all I had to do was sit back and play pitch and catch. It's something we've been working on over these last couple days. 2-minute, and to be able to get to rep 2-minute in a game-like situation, and an actual game, it's a plus. It's a great learning opportunity for a lot of guys. When you look around this league, a lot of games come down to the 2-minute drive. To be able to get points today, it was big. We just wanted to take a shot. Cyril's a guy who can run, and we called the play, and I said in my mind, hey, I got my guy out there. I like my guys over their guys, and just want to give them a chance, and did just that.
Teddy, how great did you
It didn't feel too strange. It actually felt like one of the old practice days, but game-like tempo. Just knowing what those guys were going to do tonight. Still remember some of their calls. Still remember some of their looks and things like that. It was kind of a plus for me, and just felt like one of the old practice days. I think last year and earlier this spring, I found myself trying to do exactly what Drew does, and I had to, take a step back and just tell myself, hey, I'm not Drew, but Drew is the standard. So, with that mindset, it's like, hey, you're chasing perfection, you're chasing excellence, but at the same time, you have to remember that, you're yourself, you have to be yourself. And when I'm in there, I try to do things in a way that Drew would do them, but I try to put my own little spin on it and things like that. So tonight, it's just great just being able to operate. We had no snap infractions or anything like that. So just great opportunity tonight.
Do you feel that based on that, if something were to happen to Drew, you could go
And we prepare for different situations. We prepare, and we discuss having the right communication, whether it's guys coming in and out on the sideline. That's the first step of it, communicating, substitutions and personnel and things like that. And now the next part of it is me receiving a play call and giving it to the offensive guys and just going to make plays. So, when I'm in there, that's my main focus. I can't think about any of those things except creating tempo and establishing rhythm.
Do you think you've learned more from watching you or things that you're on you?
Yeah, I definitely think I learned more things from watching. When you watch a guy like Drew show up every day and he's the ultimate competitor, here we are in training camp and coach might tell Drew, hey, we're thinking about giving you an off day tomorrow, and Drew's, pissed about it, because he wants to get better every day at everything. And to have a guy like that you can learn under and idolize is very beneficial for me in my career. Thank you.
Welcome back into the New Orleans Saints postgame show presented by Verizon right here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Again, the New Orleans Saints fall to the Minnesota Vikings tonight in their first preseason game. We just heard from quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, who played in the first half, and again, we saw Taysom Hill play in the second half for the Saints. But in that first half, we did see some of the starting units. We saw some of the starting guys to get their chemistry together a little bit, see that flow of the offense. And one guy we did see was Latavius Murray, who looked very promising in what his capabilities were in the backfield tonight.
Well, JD, we talked about it, I think, in our first CST show when we talked about Latavius Murray and him not having the reputation of being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And we talked about it, said, look, if you're going to be in this Saints offense, you're going to catch the ball out of the backfield. And 3 receptions tonight. That's outstanding. He made a couple of nice moves. We could see that he's a very solid runner, but if he can catch the ball with consistency, that is just one other dimension that the Saints are going to have offensively.
Well, I think we see, he said he could catch it, and then he proved it. We saw the same thing from Mark Ingram early in his career. He didn't catch a lot of balls at Alabama. He came to the Saints and said, okay, I can be a receiver, and those guys were able to prove it. It takes a lot of time and effort to be able to do so, but those guys are in the NFL, and they want to show that they're multidimensional, and I think Latavius Murray hopefully should be a guy who can contribute in that passing game.
Something that we talked about in the pregame show was the wide receiver battle, who we were going to see tonight. We did see a little bit of Simi Cobbs, a little bit
I don't know why it's buffering.
of Cyril Grayson Jr. We saw a little bit of Austin Carr, A.J. Derby, who is a guy that was added late to this training camp roster. But you have to say you like what you saw. You like the equal minutes. All good things from the receivers tonight.
Don't forget, Lil Jordan Humphrey had a touchdown catch from Taysom Hill. So, again, it's almost like tonight mirrored training camp with those wide receivers. We see some good things from each and every one of them. They just have to get a little more consistent across the board.
Yeah, you see a couple of flash plays. Cyril Grayson with a nice back shoulder catch. Lil Jordan Humphrey, as you mentioned, with the touchdown catch. So we saw some things. Dan Arnold with a fantastic play to score a touchdown. Now, we don't want to talk about that miscue. Unfortunately, he does kick one up in the air, and Minnesota returns it for a touchdown. But the touchdown play showed a lot of awareness and I think strength by Dan Arnold. So we saw some nice things out of the receivers.
On the defensive side of the ball, we didn't see too much of Saquon Hampton tonight, but we did see C.J. Gardner-Johnson tonight, and we saw a lot of promise out of the rookies. We saw Patrick Robinson get some minutes in that Saints secondary. So it seems like the Saints defensive coaches are kind of still playing around with what they want to see from the Saints secondary.
Well, they won't be happy with what they saw technique-wise, because even though it's preseason, and even though you're not scheming, and even though everything's vanilla, you don't want to see the missed tackles. You don't want to see blown assignments. You don't want to see Eli Apple in position to make a play and unfortunately doesn't get his head around quickly enough to locate the ball. That's a technique issue that they want to make sure that they can rectify. So you saw them in position for some plays, but unfortunately unable to make them, whether it was an overrun or just a simple mental miscue. And those are the things that when Sean Payton says there are a ton of things to clean up, those are the things he's talking about.
Well, we've talked enough about it. Let's go ahead and see some of the highlights from tonight's game.
36. Bridgewater caught well to dump off for Kamara. Man, oh man. Does he make a miss? Murray with a single. Bridgewater, look. Oh, you got it. You got it. Against his own. Plenty of time. The crossing pattern. 9 possessions. Now, out of the gun. Teddy Bridgewater going deep. And on the jump ball into grab. The completion. A good one for Cyril Grayson Jr. out of LSU.
Back low. But I like, look at the ball placement. I like they're totally
Bounce on the board. Underneath. It's Arnold. Does he get there? Yes! Touchdown Saints.
Welcome back into the New Orleans Saints post-game show presented by Verizon. Caroline Gonzalez alongside John DeShazer, Todd Graffanini. Again, the Saints do fall to the Minnesota Vikings in preseason game number 1 tonight, 34-25. Guys, before I let you guys go, any last-minute thoughts, any takeaways from tonight's game?
Well, I hate to sound like a coach, but look at the film and get back on the practice field tomorrow. 2 more practice days, and then an off day Tuesday, and then we're off to Los Angeles with the joint practices against the Chargers, and of course the game next Sunday. So learn from your mistakes tonight.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you clean things up. Be interesting to see what happens next week in terms of rotation-wise quarterback, whether Taysom Hill goes out with the 1s and Teddy Bridgewater comes in with the 2s, and see how effective they can be from that standpoint. But I thought we saw a lot of effectiveness out of both of those guys, regardless of the circumstances tonight. Let's see if they can carry that on.
Saints have lost the first preseason games many a years, and they've done pretty well in the regular season, so I don't think it's too much to worry about. Again, thanks for joining us on the New Orleans Saints postgame show presented by Verizon. Caroline Gonzalez, John DeShazer, Todd Graffanini. Thanks for tuning in to NewOrleansSaints.com. Tune in next week for the Los Angeles Chargers game on Sunday, August 18th at 3 p.m.
Okay, that's the Saints post-game show. If you want to come in, talk about tonight's game, feel free to come in to Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll entertain your comments tonight. I would say this, look, Saints, I'm going to be honest with you, they have a lot to clean up. And they absolutely have a lot to clean up. Because, look, there was some misassignments, there was some missed tackles and stuff like that, and big plays given up on that 64-yard run. I'm going to tell you, the Saints running game needs to be more disciplined. Because I'm going to tell you, if you do that against the Los Angeles Chargers, I'm going to guarantee you, you're gonna have a long day. Because they can throw the ball, and also, most likely, they can run the ball as well. So they might not be a threat on the running game, but they can try, because they put up. Well, we'll show you the stats in just a second. I'm gonna switch this over. Let me go to back to ESPN. I'm about to switch this over. Give me a second to switch it over. So I'm gonna go back to ESPN.com and we'll give you the rundown on the stats tonight. I'm gonna pull that up on the screen. So let me switch it over. So you might see it flip around a couple of times, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the actual box score. So the stats, let's give you the team stats from tonight's game. Team stats, Saints gave up 460 yards to 337 yards. That's unorthodox, but hopefully they can clean up their act. Because I'm going to tell you, Los Angeles is going to be a team that's not going to be somebody you should play with. Minnesota used 54 plays in the game. Saints used 64 plays in the game. Total drives was 9. Passing was 247 yards for the Vikings. 19 to 27 passing. They gave up 213 yards. That is something we cannot give up in any game. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's the regular season. You cannot give up 213 yards in an instant. But the Saints offense had 29 carries for 141. That was a 4.9 average, but 7.9 is kind of high. They're going to have to make some headway and clean up their mistakes. Now in the red zone, I was not very enthused with the red zone efficiency tonight. 1 of 3. So you can't be 1 of 3. I don't care if you're in once again the regular season or the preseason. You cannot be 1 of 3 and expect to win. That's something that's got to be changed. Now, the Saints only had 8 penalties for 73 yards. That's something. Look, but Sean Payton does not like having high number of penalties. So Sean Payton will address that with them tomorrow or Sunday or whenever they practice. Minnesota had 13 penalties, so we should have took advantage. That's one thing about it. Now the time of possession battle, 33 minutes and 13 seconds to 26-47 for the Minnesota Vikings. So Saints did win the time of possession battle. I think that's perfect. So that, like I said, 213 yards on 27 carries. Look, running the ball, you gave up way too many plays. We'll show you the plays that they did give up. I can't show you the highlights. Let's give you the first play of the game. Let's give you the 64-yard touchdown. I'm going to do that in a second. Let's go ahead and... Okay, it was on... let's see. Go ahead and look at it. Okay, I'll give you the scoring plays. Okay, this was on the 4-play, 75-yard drive at 1 minute and 35 seconds. 2nd and 10, Mike Boone gets a 64-yard pickup for a first down. So that was a touchdown. So 64-yard score. So you can't give up those scores like that. That's the biggest obstacle that kept the Saints from winning. Is giving up those big yardage. Now, let's give you another play breakdown. 33. This is Saints play, 33-yard pass from Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill got the Saints a little closer, but here's the thing. It's going to be a topsy-turvy battle for the 2nd-string quarterback position. That's going to be a topsy-turvy battle between Hill and Bridgewater. We'll show you those stats in just a few moments. So this is the Minnesota drive. It was a let's see, a 2-yard score that was on. Let's see, I'm looking at it on the screen. So it was the 2-point conversion. So it was fail. It was failed. So it was let's see. It was. I'm looking at it on the screen. So that touchdown. So it was 27-15. In the so on the touchdown play, it was 6 plays, 72 yards. 6 plays, 72 yards. So he had a touchdown. So, but the 2-point conversion did fail. So I'm gonna say this. Look, when you give up big plays, and big plays can turn into big disasters. That's one thing about it. So to recap the scoring, Minnesota led 7-0. It was on 8 plays and 76 yards. Saints kicked a 27-yard field goal, 14 plays, 55 yards. Also, Will Lutz gets a 52-yard field goal, 12 plays, 59 yards. It was 7-6, so it's a 1-point advantage. Minnesota scored on 7 plays, a 76-yard, 18-yard pass play. Dan Arnold also had an 18-yard pass play. That was on 6 plays at 79 yards. Also, in the third quarter, Minnesota made it 21-12 on 5 plays and -1 yard. So it was a 30-yard interception. Who dat? How you doing? Give me your take on tonight's Saints football game. Saints lose 34 to 25. What you think about the starters coming in, and also Taysom Hill and also Teddy Bridgewater? What do you think about so? Oh, all right. I understand. I'm in Homer. Wow. Close to me. So I stream here in South Florida. Oh, okay. You stream in South Florida. Wow. Oh, stuff on your page. Okay. Oh, all right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. But I'm gonna tell you, look, this team right now, they have to clean up those plays, because you give up those plays, I'm gonna tell you, the Los Angeles Chargers, they most likely will kick the shit out of you. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not dramatizing anything. I'm telling you the truth. I mean, if we don't clean up our act, we most likely will be going to a hornet's nest. So next Sunday. So that is the scoring plays. I'll give you the box score. Switch this over. Box score: Bridgewater 14 of 19, 134. So most likely, a lot of people saying on YouTube he is the future. I kind of doubt that. Hopefully, Breeze will play another 4 to 5 years before he takes over. He had some pretty good drives as well, but he got sacked twice in the game. So I look at it this way: he's going to have to learn to get out of the pocket like he used to when he played for the Vikings. So that's something Bridgewater is going to have to learn. Taysom Hill had 1 interception tonight. He also had 8 of 14 passing for 80 yards. So when you give up 2 sacks like that against a team like Minnesota, no telling what's going to happen next week against the Los Angeles Chargers. So I'm kind of a little skeptical if this Saints team can bounce back next Sunday, because they also will have the New York Jets on August 24th and also on August 29th against the Miami Dolphins. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next week. I mean, sure, the defense, look, the secondary, look, they got burnt on some of those plays by the Minnesota quarterback. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, that secondary, sure, it's gonna be good come the regular season, but preseason right now we have to double down. We have to double down. And also, I'm gonna mention the linebacker core. Look, they haven't got a lick of pressure on the Minnesota quarterbacks tonight. Mazon, that's he had 102 yards passing against the Saints. Also, Cousins kind of was a little trouble. Also, that young guy Slaughter for the Vikings, and also Browning. So I'm gonna tell you, look, Kirk Cousins, look, sure, he might have a big mouth and all that, and he's got a nasty attitude and stuff like that, but look, he most likely will be Minnesota's hope. I'm not saying that the Vikings will run over the entire NFC North and also the NFC schedule or their schedule, but I'm saying this: look, if Cousins, look, he can get out of those situations now. Don't think for 1 second that Kirk Cousins will stay in that pocket for long. Absolutely not. He will get out of that pocket in an instant. So that's my take on the Saints. What's yours? You can post your comments via Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. Facebook, Periscope, and Twitch. So once again, Saints lose 34-25. They will take on the Los Angeles Chargers next week. So it's next Sunday in Los Angeles. So they most likely will take off for Los Angeles this week. So thanks for everybody joining tonight's broadcast. We appreciate you coming in. Look, I unfortunately, I mean, I know y'all want to see the video. I want to see the live feed, but here's the thing: if we do show videos in our broadcast, we can get suspended or banned. So that's something people need to consider when we try to do these broadcasts, whether it's Sports Fury, Sports Reaction from YouTube, also Sir Cardinal on YouTube, and let's see, Bad Dog from YouTube. We cannot show any videos. I mean, you'll see these graphics in your screen, because look, we can't show it. So that being said, we'll conclude tonight's show. Let's begin. Let's close this down. Okay. Once again, this concludes tonight's Saints live play-by-play and also chat reaction to tonight's game. We will have another one next Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers. I will most likely be on between, I'd say, 3 o'clock, close to 3, so it'd be quarter to 3, so I'll most likely be on next Sunday. So I will be on also for the New York Jets game. I won't be on for the Miami game. So please be advised of that. Tomorrow we'll have this regular show. You can come in, talk about any sports topic you want. We do sports talk with Kara Wiemeyer's show 7 days a week. So I invite you to join in and chat with me. So I appreciate it. I mean, everything went smooth tonight. So unfortunately, the New Orleans Saints lose. So we have to get back on track next week. So everybody have a good rest of your Friday evening. And we'll be back tomorrow for Sports Talk with Kara Wiemeyer's show. Until then, everybody have a good